Hey, God damn it! I'm looking.
Why, hello, everybody. Welcome to another podcast with me, Under the Walrus, and the return of.
Hey guys, it's me again, Victor. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yes, it's not Fuyo. So sorry to keep you guys wondering.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Fuyo is not back yet, but
Oh,
we will
shit.
do our best to keep you entertained anyway.
Okay, then. So, in this podcast, we're going to be talking about the upcoming games, because since everyone is starting to leave school, school is ending and whatnot. For what is it, summer vacation? I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, summer.
A lot of games are going to be
Thank
coming
God.
out. A lot of games are going to be coming out for that. And so we're going to be talking about the upcoming games for this summer.
Or at least some of them.
And the first thing that comes to mind when you think of the games that are going to be launched is probably Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time for the 3DS.
Now, I played and beat the both the original Ocarina of Time and Master Quest, and I have to say, the game is a freaking masterpiece. I can't wait to get my hands on a 3DS. My brother's going to buy one, and hopefully I'll be able to convince him to buy Zelda Ocarina of Time too, so I don't have to waste any money on it. And the fact that it's going to be in 3D only makes it better. I cannot wait, gotta tell you that.
But Victor, what are your expectations for the new mode that they're putting in, like boss mode, and the fact that they are adding new weapons and new gameplay mechanics to this remake? Like they're putting in a little more stuff to make
Well,
it 3DS compatible per se.
yeah. I don't think it's even just as compatible. I think that people have seen a lot of Ocarina of Time over the past, ever since it came out. Like the original and Master Quest, they kind of have to add some new mechanics in there. I'm not too worried. Nintendo's pulled itself through a lot of shit in the past, and I'm pretty sure the game is going to be pretty good. I I can't say I'm not worried though, because the game was really good, and if they don't put in these gameplay mechanics in a way that makes sense, they might screw themselves over. So I'm hoping that they manage to integrate the gameplay, the new gameplay mechanics and new weapons and such in a way that it doesn't make the old stuff completely worthless. Because like I don't want them to add, let's say, like a better version of the bow or something, if they had a gun or something, no one's ever going to use the bow again. So like,
A
that
gun in
what
Ocarina of
that's
Time. That would be awesome.
it's just an example. So I don't want to see Nintendo doing that. I still want to be able to make my way through the game with the old stuff as well as the new things. I want to have to use both, or be able to use both, and not be limited to one or the other.
And we also know that Nintendo 3DS, its graphics and whatnot, are equal to and maybe even better than the GameCube's. So seeing how they're going to pull off not only 3D but making the graphics in Ocarina of Time better could also be a big redeeming factor, because everyone knows Ocarina of Time. Everyone knows that the graphics in it for Nintendo 64 were amazing, but subpar to what we see today. What Even though
Very
it's still a
subpar,
good
very
game.
subpar. I mean, like his hands were basically squares. But anyway, yeah, I can't wait to see what they manage to do with it. I really can't.
And the second game that we see, which although has been a little bit under the radar lately, but no one can forget about, it's coming out in I think 3 weeks. Let me check here. I'm actually on IGN's website. Right here, Duke Nukem Forever, coming out June 14th. What do you think of that game?
I haven't actually played the original Duke Nukem, which I'm sure lots of people out there will shun me for. But I have seen some gameplay and I have heard of it. I haven't been living under a rock for the past few years. So, the fan base for Duke Nukem is probably exploding over this news, because Duke Nukem Forever has been like canceled, and then said they were going to do it again, and then canceled again, and now they're finally actually going to release it. So it's been like, what, 15 years, something like that, since the original Duke Nukem. So the whole Duke Nukem crowd is probably, I don't know, giving a party or something the week that that comes out. I am personally expecting a pretty big sales turnout. I'm not sure if the game is going to be good or not. I really hope it is, because I plan on getting it. But I probably think that we're going to see some midnight lineups there. You know, people sleeping outside GameStop just to be able to get the game the second it comes out.
And of course, it's going to come out the same week that Ocarina of Time. So that's going to be a good week for gaming in
It's going to be a
itself.
great week for gaming.
But there's also one thing about Duke Nukem Forever that kind of gives people, a little twitch in the eye because the fact that the game, from what we've seen that's come out from the game, a lot of stuff have been sort of meh. Not because of being bad, but just being disgusting and gross. For example, him getting poop out of the toilet and then flinging it on a whole room. That kind of got people a little turned away because
The thing is,
this game is going to be very mature, like for the hugely
oh
mature
yeah,
audience. Probably for the people
it's
who
it's
played the original Duke
completely
Nukem.
graphic. Yeah, if you've played the original Duke Nukem, you know that that's like expected of Nuke Nukem. I'm pretty sure that there's this part where he like kills a boss and then shits in its mouth. So like I'm not even kidding. I'm pretty sure that's a legitimate thing that happened. So like
Way to
if you played
teabag.
and liked the original, if you play, if you played and liked the original Duke Nukem, there's nothing that's going to keep you away from this game. I mean, it is going to be pretty gross, but hey, there's an audience for everything, isn't there?
And since we talked about Nintendo at the start, we also have to talk about the whole Project Cafe or Coffee or whatever the hell how you pronounce it, which we are going to see in E3, which is the successor of the Wii. And I for one,
Pá! Acorda, porra. Fica aí
I
dormindo no
am
PC, caralho.
hugely skeptical for it. Like you have no clue. Hold on, because from what I've seen of it, it just doesn't seem all that good. What with the whole?
I mean,
Oh no, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead. No, go ahead, go ahead.
What with the whole 6-inch screen on the controller, and the graphics being a little bit better only than that of the Xbox and the PS3. So they may be putting themselves a little bit of a vantage point compared to the Xbox 360 and the PS3. But who says the graphics for the Project Coffee or Steam are going to be good compared to the Xbox 720 or PS4? Because Microsoft and Sony have announced that they are working on the next generation.
Yeah, they have announced that, and like, I mean, you can only go so far with graphics. Not don't call me a basher here, but like, I think graphics are definitely not everything. They're a factor, yes, but if you think that if a game has graphics so bad that you're not willing to play it, then it's probably a black screen because if a game is good, the graphics should not matter as much as some people think they do. Like, I've seen people refuse to play old games that are very, very good because they have bad graphics. And I just think to myself, well, you're an idiot. Like, I understand people wanting better and better graphics because they want their games to look good, but that's only one aspect of the game. If a game can have near perfect graphics, it can be completely lifelike, but if it doesn't have a good story or good gameplay, then no one's going to play it because it defeats the purpose. But anyway, back onto the new Nintendo console. I think that it's actually very interesting because if I'm not mistaken, the Dreamcast had a screen in the center of its controller, and Nintendo might be throwing back to that. And there were a few games for the GameCube, in fact, that required you to plug in your Game Boy into the GameCube to use as a controller, such as Zelda 4 Swords and Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. And I think that they might be using the screen on the controller for something to that effect. But, I mean, it's probably not going to be used in every single game, maybe even a couple, maybe in others, probably
But
nothing more than an inventory screen or a map.
But it's going to be implemented on the controller, so even if the game doesn't use that, it's still going to be a huge thing because 6-inch screen is not small. I mean, you get an Xbox controller, you get a PS3 controller, and this
No, yeah,
Steam
the controller is definitely going to be
huge.
bigger. No, it is, but you never know. I mean, Nintendo's been relatively successful with their weird technological shit over time. Let's take, for example, the Wiimote. The Wiimote has forced and no, because they probably did Nintendo doing this in the first place. So yes, it is forced. The Wiimote forced both Microsoft and the PlayStation people and Sony to integrate and create their own motion capturing software and hardware. That what they probably wouldn't have given two shits if Nintendo hadn't opened this market, and they did. So I'm going to, at the very least, give them the benefit of the doubt. I have no idea what they're doing with this screen thing, but hopefully they'll present it in a fashion that makes sense in E3, so we can only wait and hope.
And you brought out something good, because, as you said, Sony and Microsoft implemented the whole motion sensing thing because the Nintendo started it. What about now with the 3DS coming out, the 3D technology without glasses? Now Xbox and Sony, they're going to have to start implementing this. But since the Nintendo
not necessarily,
3DS,
because here's the thing that I think, the Nintendo has so thoroughly dominated the handheld market since the original Game Boy, that fucking gray block, that I really don't think that Sony and Microsoft are going to care much unless Nintendo finds a way to implement augmented reality and 3D without the glasses on a common television. Then my guess is the Xbox, both Microsoft and Sony, aren't really going to care, except to maybe boost up their own handheld devices, because like they're competing a lot more on the console market than on the handheld market. So it doesn't matter as much, I think, unless they manage to find a way to use the technology on a regular television, or that might even be what the 6-inch screen on the controller's for. You never know.
That's a good point. Maybe the 6-inch screen could be a 3D device like the 3DS. I actually never thought of that. That's actually a good idea. And let's talk about
we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Now, let's talk about another console per se that has been dominating a little more, which has been becoming an underdog per se, which is PC games. PC games, as we all know, have been evolving to tremendous heights lately, surpassing, in some cases, the consoles, both in gameplay and graphics. And with it, we have some new games coming out exclusively for the PC that could be extremely good. For example, we have Diablo 3, which Victor told me before the podcast they were going to do a beta testing. Tell us more about that, Victor.
Yeah, I heard through secondhand sources, so I haven't actually searched up on this, and I'll actually have to do that after the podcast. But apparently, Blizzard is going to be starting its Diablo 3 beta testing anytime soon, at some point after the summer. And from what I heard, and don't hold me to this, because as I said, still haven't checked it out, is going to be beginning their beta testing actually somewhere between September and October, which leaves me with the thought that they are most likely going to be releasing Diablo 3 somewhere around winter, December, January. And I cannot wait. Diablo 2 is one of the best action RPGs on the planet, because it's simply amazing. And Diablo 3 promises that and more. It's got some things that I'm slightly skeptical about, not gonna lie. The little health orbs that enemies drop are kind of iffy, to me at least, because depending on the way you could play your character, I guess you could be unkillable with those as long as you can kill enough things. But I'm not sure. Blizzard has always managed to pull through balance-wise before, and that's one thing that no one can say anything about. So they'll probably be able to... They'll do their best with it for sure. But I personally can't wait. I mean, people have definitely heard of walls of fire, like Firewall, and maybe even walls of ice. Or maybe even walls of ice or something. But have you ever heard of a wall of fucking zombies?
Now that would be cool.
I don't think so. Diablo 3 has a witch doctor in which he summons a wall of zombies, which will smack shit that tries to get through it.
That would be cool.
You summon zombies that smack things in a wall. That's pretty cool, not gonna lie. And the new classes look really, really good. You see the return of the barbarian class, as always. Simply a very big favorite. The witch doctor, the monk. The monk seems really nice. It looks like a throwback to the assassin in some ways. And let's see, the sorceress, the mage has some really really cool mechanics in it. Some really new things. A time field, time slow thing, which stops projectiles. Seems like it could be very very useful both in single player and multiplayer, basically eliminating the effectiveness of lots of long range things. But the best thing I think about Diablo 3 is that it's going to continue the story that left off at Diablo 2, because I didn't think there was going to be a Diablo 3. I really didn't, because it was pretty much resolved
Yeah.
at the end of Diablo 2.
You
The
like
three primevals were dead, the world stone was destroyed to keep them from getting there now. So what's next? I can't wait to see.
But one thing about Diablo 3 that a lot of people are also considering for it is the fact that, first of all, we got to talk about World of Warcraft, which has been losing a lot of its thunder lately. I think in the last month they've lost 1 million subscriptions, or I think a little bit less than that. So people are already looking for the successor of World of Warcraft, and a lot of people are looking at Diablo 3 for that. One, because Diablo in itself is a series that has revolutionized the RPG genre. Well, with the first Diablo, which revolutionized everything for the PC, what with the whole you making your guy better, finding different weapons, the amount of weapons, the amount of diversity that you could use for your character, and that was implemented so much better in Diablo 2. So you can imagine Diablo 3 revolutionizing the genre more and
Yeah,
more.
I can definitely. The one thing that you said though about World of Warcraft, I think is world that you people keep forgetting that World of Warcraft is 7 years old at this point.
Yeah.
There are very, 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 very few online games that have been able to survive past, let's say, 2 or 3 years before people lose interest and just drift away. And like the fact that World of Warcraft has managed to maintain somewhere above upwards of 10 million subscriptions during 7 years is pretty good. Not gonna lie. I mean, I like the game, so this might just be my bias talking, but it's pretty good. The one thing though, Diablo 2 isn't or Diablo 3 rather, isn't necessarily a successor to World of Warcraft because for the same reason that StarCraft 2 wasn't. It's a different genre of game. It's an action RPG rather than something more World of Warcraft esque, and
Like MMORPG.
uh yeah, more rather no, it is kind of that, but it's a different style of gameplay. Diablo 2 is a lot more action oriented. There aren't any. It's not stand there and smack at things and press buttons to do certain things when you need to. Rather, Diablo is let me smash my face into the keyboard in the most effective way possible that is going to kill and create carnage in the most spectacular way while I knock down some walls to kill those advancing zombies. I'm going to sit here and smack the shit out of a boss. So it's a different kind of game. And in some ways it's better, in some ways it's worse. It depends on what you like more. And it really depends. But frankly, I see World of Warcraft continuing for a while. I mean, there is no MMO currently out on the market that comes near the amount of subscribers that World of Warcraft has. And people have said that that stuff's going to come out that's going to kill WoW. I mean, first it was Warhammer, and then after Warhammer it was Aeon, and there people were yeah, Warhammer Online a while I think a few years back. And people were like, "Oh, this is totally going to kill World of Warcraft." And the World of Warcraft shrugged it off and laughed at their pathetic attempts. So that brings up Rift, which is some people call it the new WoW, and Rift is good. I've played it. Yeah, Rift is actually a very very good game, and it's very well made. And it's got some polishing. It's got some polishing to do, as does every new MMO on the market. It's really good, but I still don't think it's going to kill WoW because like wow, some people are fans of Warcraft specifically for the lore or for the style of gameplay. So like I said before, it's the same thing as between World of Warcraft and Diablo 3. It's more on what kind of game you're looking for rather than oh, this is going to kill a game or kill that. It doesn't work that way as much as people would think it does.
Hello. Yes, sorry for that sort of abrupt cut. The reason is um, after that moment, I started playing a game on the Xbox, and my mic was a little bit too close to the TV. So when Victor would talk and when I would talk, you guys would end up hearing the game, which is Fight Night Round 3, and I would get into fights, and you would hear the narrators just talk a lot. And also because the theme that we talked about after he was done with WoW was something that me and Ryan actually did a podcast about that I'm still gonna upload. So yeah, consider that the end of the podcast. But well, yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, 20 minutes of podcast. I think it's good enough. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Under the Walrus here, and see you later.